Okay, this is a corporation. Okay, A-L, and stockholders' equity. It's called stockholders' equity. This is called owner's equity. You see, stockholders' equity implies what? Yeah, it means it's owned. It has some stockholders. It has some stock in it, right? Okay. All right. Now, if this is over here, we have what we call is this is stock. We have stock over here. We have retained earnings is over here. And we have this treasury stock. Okay, now that is going to, that, folks, is going to go right over your head, just like this. Just what I put up there, all right? Okay. Now, I wish I could take your picture right now, because later on, that's just going to be as common to you as any other language that you learn, all right? But it's got to have stock over here, better known as PIC, paid in capital. Paid in capital goes right up there. But you know that before this semester is over, in the long haul, the overview, we're going to have to know that when you are dealing with stockholders' equity, you got a 1, 2, 3. Got it? 1, 2, 3. Over there. 1, 2, 3, which is stock, retained earnings, and treasury stock. What treasury stock is. Remind me, because when we get to treasury stock, you will then understand what Enron did. I'll tell you the story about Enron. Remember that company? How they juiced all the people out of their money, all right? Now, let's go back. Okay, what's the table Matt sits at? Journal. What's the threshold called? Transaction. Matt, we're still trying to get to your table, because this is the critical one, Matt. Matt, he didn't even know that he was going to set it the most critical part of the language. Right there. Because we got to do it right. Because when we get that right, it's just a matter of pushing buttons to get through the rest of the stuff when we get to the computer world. That's it. If we do that translating right, we just got to learn how to push buttons to get all the way around here, and it's simple. Okay, I teach a class in the spring called QuickBooks. It does everything for you. If you do Matt's table right, then QuickBooks will do everything else for you. Now, here's a rule. I want to teach you now a rule that you'll pick this up in maybe about chapter 3 as you read about this. The definitions, and up here stockholders' equity. This is taught in chapters 1 and 2. It's theory. It's theory. When you get to chapter 3, it's when they introduce you to this thing called the T account. The T account. I'm looking for a. Here we go. I'm going to erase this part right here. And I will take the corporation off for just a second. Although, you know what it is, right? If you got an SE, you got a 1, 2, 3, right? If you got a stockholders' equity, you got a 1, 2, 3. In the language, Matt, we're going to get your table. In the language, we use a symbol. And the symbol is a T account. The symbol is a T account. It's a T account because there are 3 sections. There's a top, a left, and a right. A top and a left and a right. All right? How do you say... Okay, in English, we say the top. Right? How do we say the top in Spanish? How would you spell that? L-A. L-A. Space. E-T-H. E-O-P-H. Oh, P-O-P-A. Now, you don't need to learn that. P-A-P-A. All right?
P is in Tom at the beginning instead of a P. There you go.
Tapa. La tapa. Oh, that's easy. La top. Right? The la tapa. And in German, it would be Ober. How do you... Okay, this is a tough one. Navajos. How do the Navajos say top? That's okay. Okay. Anyway, that's all right. You got my point, okay? Now, that's the first section of the T account. Now, there is a section over here that's called the left. And there's a section over here that's called the right. Now, the reason I'm playing with your mind on this is because I spent 4 hours in the library at Utah State. Remember, I had a hard time learning this? Trying to figure out what the left and right really meant. And I just beat my brains out. And it's such an easy concept, I don't know why. It took me 4 hours to even figure it. And then it took the whole year before it actually settled in. Okay? And this is the concept, all right? Over here, we call it the left in English. Over here, we call it the right side. How do you say left in Spanish? Okay. Okay, spell it.
IZQUIERE.
Huh? Okay, that's close enough. How do you say right? Leche, right? Derecha.
DERECHA.
All right. Over here, we got links and an X. Okay? And the Navajos would have a left and a right too, okay? Right? Is that right? They have left and right in Navajo. Now, the only one I want you to worry about in here is how what the language of counting says that the left is. Does anybody have any idea? What? Debit.
Debit.
Oh, you got it. Debit. And what is the right called? Credit. Now, end of lecture on that. What's the definition of a debit? Okay, now this is my problem. I was in the library trying to figure out what the definition of a debit was. And what's the definition? And that's a stupid question. What's the definition of left? That's the same thing you're saying. What's the definition of right? Can you tell me that in English? No, then how am I going to tell you what the definition of a debit is? It's just the left. What's the definition of right? It's the right. Okay, now why spend 4 hours figuring that out? It's a language. They say debit when they mean left and credit when they say right. All the stuff you've learned about debits and credits, forget about them. You know, credit cards, debit cards. You know, the real language says debit is left and credit is right. Now, you got to know that because this is a teeter-totter language. Matt, we're going to be right back to you real soon. That's not too difficult, is it? All right, so we got this thing now. A T account is divided into the top, the left, the debit, and the credit. So now whenever I say the word debit, you got to think left. When I say the word credit, you got to think in your mind it means right. Now, these things are positioned in this equation over here. They're positioned in that equation over here so that it presents itself with the teeter-totter. Remember how we wrote everything on the left? I mean, everything. We had the assets on the left and we had the ownership of the assets on the right. So what we do now is we come down here and I put a T account. Now we're in hardcore language now, Matt. We're just about to your desk. All right? I write a T account under every one of those accounts. Every one of those accounts. So the language is this. It's based upon a T. It's based upon this concept that for every debit, there must be a credit. And it's based upon the concept of this thing called a normal balance. It's called a normal balance. The normal balance is the side of the T account that will